Okay, so now we'll look at 11.5, and conceptually, we know how quad form works. I don't really need to spend time going over this, but I mean, you have an equation, you know what A, B, and C are, you throw it in, you get your output. The thing that I think that is important to know is that A, we have two real roots here if the discriminant is the part underneath the radical. We call it the discriminant because it discriminates, I guess, and I mean, discrimination is obviously been a big term in the news, in the context of race or gender or whatnot. But discrimination could also, this could be just judged based on differences, and that's what this does. The B-squared minus 4AC helps to distinguish the different types of solutions you could have. So when B-squared minus 4AC is positive, we would anticipate two real answers, or two x-intercepts. That's a graphical connection. When B-squared minus 4AC is 0, we anticipate just one solution. We set the quadratic equation equals 0, or one x-intercept. And then if your B-squared minus 4AC, the discriminant, is negative, then we would anticipate never touching the x-axis or no real solution, so never touching the x-axis. So we have to make those kind of connections. Sometimes you can see questions like these here, like, A, find the number of solutions for this system. The best way to go about it is set them equal to each other and then find a discriminant and see what's happening. If discriminant is positive, then you got two real answers. If it's 0, you have one real answer. If you have negative, you have no real answers. You could try graphing them too, but if it's in a non-calculator section, then that's a little tough to kind of see. So I just suggest you set them equal to each other and isolate all the terms on one side and do the discriminant. Here's another one that's a little bit wacky. Find the sum and product of all values of x that satisfy this. Well, first you got to solve for x, right? So we do quad form, and then you can just add the roots or multiply the roots, and that's how you do it. There is kind of a fancy way of doing it, but I think just knowing how to solve, just stick with what you know. So try and memorize something and then you forget what it might be doing. So let's look at 1 and 4. So here they're asking for all the values, all the solutions of x. Now remember, this is A, this is B, this is C. A is P minus 1. So clearly you're going to be dividing by 2A when you do the quad form. B is negative 2, so we put negative 2, but it's negative 2, mind you. Plus or minus B squared, which is 4, minus 4AC. A is P minus 1, and C is negative P, so B is negative 2, and C is negative parentheses P plus 1. So you could probably distribute and make it negative P minus 1. The bottom line is that I know that I'm going to have 2 plus or minus all this junk divided by 2 times P minus 1. So I'm doing 2 over 2 P minus 1, so the 2's cancel. But the inside part's going to be a little messy. You know what we probably should have done for this one, actually? The more I think about it, I mean, you could work all this out, but it's just going to get really messy. We probably should just let P equal 2. Work that out. I should have just done that. You get x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. Actually, I'm glad I did it that way, so now you can kind of see why that's not a preferred tactic. This is better. X minus 3, x plus, so I got kind of lucky that I could factor. If not, I could do quad form. So I get 2 answers, 3 and negative 1. Plug in 2 in each choice. I do get 3 over here and negative 1. I do get 3 here, but I get 5 over 1, so that's out. I get 5 over 1 here, that's out. And this one's just going to be a little too weird. You're doing 2 minus 4. That's not going to work for us. So the answer is going to be C. So that just saves a lot of heartache by plugging in numbers for letters. So I strongly suggest you do that. For number 4, you want 2 real solutions. So what I would suggest that you do is set these equal to each other. Move everything over to one side. And then the discriminant, remember, b squared minus 4ac. Hold on a sec here. So in this case, what we'll have to wind up doing is just kind of go through process of elimination, because saying for which of the following. So now, if I kind of do the first choice, plug in -2 for b, but remember, this b is actually different than this b. So if I were to plug in 3 for a, that's minus 4 times 3, and my c here is also 3. And if I plug in -2 for b over here, that becomes -5. If I square that, it's 25. That's not going to work for us, because that would be a negative discriminant. If b is 0, so maybe I'll just do this. If a is 5, I get 5x squared. If b is 0, I get -7x plus 3. So I have 49 minus 4 times 5 times 3. No, it's still negative. If I put 7 in for a, so 7x squared minus 7x, and minus bx minus 2x plus 3. So I have 9x in the middle. So 81, I'm going to do b squared minus 4ac. No, it's still, no, actually, that winds up being positive. So the answer is C. So what you're doing is you're going through a process of elimination. We see which of the following, POE, I abbreviate for short as process of elimination. So yes, I set these equal to each other, and I put everything on one side, and then I got to plug in these constants into my equation or expression, and then do the discriminant and see which one gives me a positive discriminant. So it's a little bit labor intensive, but if you do it carefully, and let me actually show you the answer key, so you kind of see it fully worked out. Come on, here we go. Oh, I guess I was a little off. P squared minus 4ac. Okay, I must have been a little off with my numbers, but that's what you have to do. You just gotta test them out. So I must have made a careless mistake with that one. I think I had an extra negative, which I probably shouldn't have. Anyway, we'll probably just have you do the problems right now for 2, 3, 5, 6, and 11, 5, because these are a little bit intense. So 2 should be pretty straightforward. I mean, you are just doing quad form and adding the values. 5, you're just finding what they are. 6 is process elimination, doing the discriminant. And number 3 is also the discriminant. For number 3, what you'll want to do is b squared minus 4ac. Plug in 6. Plug in a for k. And plug in 4 for c. And that must equal 0. And your job is to solve for k. So that's how you would do 3 for that one. So give us a few minutes, and then we'll come back. So I say about 6 minutes. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up. Stop sharing. Stop recording.